Hi everyone, it is Thursday the 7th of October and that means that it is release day for my new book baby. It is my 10th book. It is called The Sister Who Ate Her Brothers and it's a weird launch day because I'm just in my flat and I'm not about to embark on book tour. I have been writing articles for various different places. I have been doing some radio, podcasts. I'm hoping to do some online bookshop events and I will mark those on my website on the events page when those happen. And later today, I'm filming this the beginning of the afternoon. I am doing a launch over on my Instagram page, which already will have happened by the time this is going up, but I will be saving that, captioning it and uploading it to IGTV tomorrow. So stuff is happening. It's just weird because, you know, do I need to explain? It is a weird time. So my new book is out today. This is it here. It's called The Sister Who Ate Her Brothers. It is a collection of gruesome fairy tales from around the world, retold by me, illustrated by Adam D'Souza. I have spoken about it on here before. I made an announcement video where I shared a story from it, which I'll link down below. And I don't know, normally obviously there would be a physical launch party. I would be doing different things. And today I'm working and I felt a bit, not nervous. I don't know if nervous is the right word. It just doesn't ever feel very real when a new book comes out, whether I'm going out and doing stuff in the world or not. It's just a surreal thing. So I thought I would sit down and do what makes me feel more comfortable and at home, and that is to film a video. So I'm going to film a video talking about books that I have bought and been sent recently, talk about other people's books to balance out the talking about my own. I'm going to put down that cup of tea because it's far too hot to drink right now. I know as authors, we feel like we're supposed to play it really cool and say, you know, it'll be nice, you know, if you get a moment to maybe take a look at the book and see if it's something that you'd be interested in. And obviously, I mean all of those things. That is what I mean. But also, I would like to be slightly less cool about it and own that and say, you know, I worked really hard on this book. I think that you'll really like it. I think that if you're here and you're watching my videos where I talk about the history of fairy tales and I share gruesome stories, then you'll enjoy it. It's got queer representation and disability representation in it. It has beautiful artwork. I mean, biggest sell, it's got a ribbon bookmark. I mean, come on. And if you've read my previous books, I think that you will enjoy this too, if you like those. So I'm going to play it slightly less cool and just say that it would mean a lot if you could check it out. If you would like to buy it to support the book, have a great time and support me, that'd be amazing. You can also support me in the book by reserving it at your local library. All of those things help massively. I'm proud of this book and I hope that you like it. All right, I'll put it down now and let us talk about books that I have bought or been sent for review. There are a couple, two books next to me, which I'm not going to show because they're for like a secret TBR reading vlog video. Not to be mysterious, but that'll come around soon enough. This first book, I will list all the titles down below in case that's helpful. This book sounds like one of the most me books I've ever heard of. When I read the blurb, I was just so excited. So this is about creatures that live at the bottom of the ocean. And if you have read my book, to mention another book of mine, sorry, The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night, the end story is called Bright White Hearts and it's about a girl with actually who works at an aquarium and she's fascinated by all the fish that live at the bottom of the sea. And I'm a bit fascinated, got lost in research for that story. So this is about that, but it's also about blindness and talking about bioluminescence and blindness and sensory things and darkness, disability, crossover with creatures that we don't know much about. I mean, it's just ticking all of my boxes. So this is by Dr. Edith Widder, and it's called Below the Edge of Darkness, Exploring Light and Life in the Deep Sea. So she is a marine biologist and she had a surgery that went wrong which caused temporary blindness, and then she became fascinated by the importance of light. So, I mean, yes, please, that is going on the shelf. Speaking of disability, this is Daniel Sluman's new collection. He was one of the editors of Stares and Whispers, which is a great anthology highlighting disabled poets. So this is called Single Window, and I'll be able to talk about it properly after I've read it. Always hard to summarise a poetry collection. Then I become rather biased about. This is my mate's book. This is Jean's new book, which is called The Flames of Albiyon. This has been her passion project, and I know how much love she has put into this. Also, she completely introduced me to this new genre, or at least gave name to a genre that I, to be honest, haven't explored much of, because we know that I like the dark and twisted stuff. But this is hope punk, so really hopeful stuff, I guess, like Becky Chambers books, where nice things happen to people. Don't we all need nice things sometimes? Yeah, this is her novel, and obviously it's got dragons in it. Wouldn't be a novel by Jean if it didn't have dragons in, if we're talking about fantasy. So excited for this and thrilled for her. One of my most anticipated releases landed on my doorstep. This is From the Neck Up by Aliya Whiteley, and this is a collection of science fiction, fantasy type stories. It says that these are about the strangeness of everyday life. She explores beguiling gardens, rebellious bodies, and unexpected journeys across familiar worlds with her trademark wit and imagination. Witness the future of farming in a new ice age, or the artists bringing life to glass, the many-eyed monsters we carry, and the secret cities inside our bodies. That one really intrigues me. The alien invasion of language to the chantress and her twists on the fairy tale. Hey, fascinating and always unexpected. Whiteley is unlike any other writer working today. One of my most anticipated releases, as I said. Then I have this, which is, there are a couple of short story collections here, so let me talk about those all at the same time, because I think that would be the most sensible. I was sent this review copy, which I feel like I'm almost cosplaying as with this purple wig. It's the BBC National Short Story Award Anthology, published by Comma Press, I think. Yes, Comma Press. So this is all of the shortlisted authors. I did a video with them last year where I talked about all the shortlisted authors for last year's prize, and then talked about my entire short story collection. That sounds like a book. The collection of short story collections that I have. So if you would like to see that video, I'll link it in the description box down below. But it's always fun to see what work they are celebrating. This is How to Wrestle a Girl by Venita Blackburn. This is about body and girlhood, and I think there are lots of stories to do with family. One of the stories is about a world where people sell off their excess skin for food processing. Delicious, lovely. And then this one I was sent for review, which sounds massively up my street. It's called Safely Gathered In by Sara Schofield, and again, this is published by Comma Press. Listen to this. From the child acting out a family betrayal in the comfort of her doll's house, to the sister making wind-up toys from the dead birds she finds on her doorstep. Yes. This debut collection ventures into the surreal and delivers a sense of the unease that leaves us questioning why we gather the things we do. Great, sign me up, thank you very much. This is also one of my most anticipated releases. It is by Kiran Millwood Hargrave, and it's illustrated by her husband Tom. This is called Julia and the Shark. Julia and her parents moved to Greenland, yes. I tell a lie, they've gone to Shetland, but they are interested in the Greenland shark. I knew Greenland came into it somewhere. So this is about mental health and parenthood and mental health, and seeing that from a child's point of view. And also, like with this book right here, about the ocean and the secrets of the ocean and the ancient nature of the ocean. And I think maybe these two books would pair quite well together. That is a thought. Maybe I will read them at the same time. I've also purchased Honorifics by Cynthia Miller, which is currently shortlisted for the Forward Prize for Poetry. My favourite prize, you know, I've judged it before, love it. The imagery in this is what drew me to it. Excuse me, thinking about pickling dark strips of stars and preserving them in vinegar. I would buy it on that line alone. This is giving me Nina Mingya Powles vibes. If you've read her collection Magnolia, which is also published by Knox Press actually, then I think you would really like this too. I say, having not yet read it, but I think this is going to be really wonderful. You know when you get a tingling for a favourite book of the year? Then I was sent this by my friend Jo. I had lent her the second in the Roxane Weary series, the first of which is called The Last Place You Look, which is by Kirsten Lepionka, and is my favourite crime series that I have started reading this year. So I lent her that and she posted it back to me, and in that parcel was this, which she said I should check out. It's by Joseph Knox, who I've not read before, and it's called Sirens. It says, Detective Aidan Watts is in trouble. After a career-ending mistake, he's transferred from his usual duties to the dreaded night shift. But when Isabella Rossiter, the daughter of a prominent MP, disappears, everything changes. Waits finds Isabel in the arms of a menacing and enigmatic criminal who lures young women into his orbit, young women who have a bad habit of vanishing. With a wave of murders breaking throughout the city, Waits follows Isabel into this dark world, convinced that it's all connected. But as things take a turn for the worse, he finds himself cut loose by the police. Obviously, I love it when that happens, you know? You must go on leave, you can't investigate this anymore, and then obviously they go and investigate it on their own with no backup. We all know how that goes, but it draws us in every single time. So I trust her. I'm going to check this one out, see what I think of it. This is a new release that's being published in January 2022. It's called Tides by Sarah Freeman. This is obviously not what it's going to look like. This is a proof copy. But the blurb says this. Let us read it together. After a sudden, devastating loss, Mara walks out on her family and finds herself in a wealthy seaside town. So it's about her being cut adrift, and then it's about her relationship that she starts up with a man who owns a wine shop. Yes, and the possibility of connection with him. I think it's going to be quite a close novel. What do I mean by that? I think it's going to be very much in her world, and her world is going to be very small and I imagine atmospheric. Always love to read about the sea, as you know. So that is going on the TBR. Then I read The Talented Mr. Ripley last month. I was trying to work out time. Last month. It was in September. Yeah, it was in September. I just haven't done my September wrap up yet, but I did talk about it in a reading vlog where I read loads of crime thrillers, fell in love with Ripley. I haven't bought the next one in the series. I'm going to leave it a bit. I think she didn't write a new one for like over a decade, I think. Maybe even 2 decades. So I'm not hurrying to pick that one up, though I have heard that they do, you know, stand up to the first one and it is a good series. But I thought I would dive into other books of hers because the only other one that I've read before is Carol, which I loved. So I bought 3. Maybe should have bought 1. I got excited. Okay, so this is one of the vintage modern classics. Is that what they're called? Yes, it is a Virago modern classic. So this is the same edition that I have the Ripley book in, and this is called Strangers on a Train, which is about 2 strangers who meet on a train. The blurb is very mysterious. I don't want to find out too much by looking up a proper one, but it says, Bruno slammed his palms together. Hey, cheeses, what an idea. I kill your wife and you kill my father. We meet on a train, see, and nobody knows we know each other. Perfect alibis. Catch? So I don't know, it's actually about strangers meeting on a train or people pretending to be strangers meeting on a train. Either way, I'm here for it. This one is called Deep Water, which is very shiny. Love it. Feels quite, I don't know, like Gatsby meets Mermaid. Okay, so this is about a married couple called Vic and Melinda. There is no love left in their marriage, and Melinda boasts about the affairs that she's having. And then one of the men that she's having an affair with is murdered, and her husband insinuates that perhaps he did it. I think that sounds great. And then this one, I perhaps should have looked at the page count before purchasing, and I didn't. And that is a lesson to myself. Let me take a sip of tea to give me strength to lift up this book. Okay, so this is the selected stories of Patricia Highsmith with an introduction by Carmen Maria Machado. Yes, it only came out this year or last year, very recently. Look at this cover. It's very psychedelic, 1984, isn't it? Look how big it is. It is big. This is a collection of all of her stories, or at least a huge section of them. And because it's short stories, I had naively assumed it was going to be quite short, because short story collections normally are. This is over 600 pages. So yes, it's big, but I love her writing and I'm excited to read more of it in small doses. I'm going to have this one maybe by my bedside table, read a story every so often. That sounds delightful. And then finally, I have 2 non-fiction books which I am very excited to get to. So the first one is by Shon, which is called The Transgender Issue, An Argument for Justice. I love Shon. I think she's great. Follow her on social media. If you don't already follow her, I'm excited to read her manifesto and all of her wonderful thoughts. She's very eloquent is what I was going to say, unlike me in that sentence just then. And then the other book is by Laura Bates, who I also adore. I have been following her works for years and years and years. She is the founder of the Everyday Sexism Project, and this is men who hate women, the extremism nobody is talking about. So this is about incels, it's about men who group together on the internet against women, and I'm sure that it's going to be brilliant because she's brilliant. So those are all the books that I've purchased recently or been sent for review. I would love to know if any of these books are on your radar, if they were already, or if now they are, or maybe you've read some already. Tell me what you thought of them. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'll mention it again. I would say I'm sorry, but as I said, I'm proud of this book. One last time. Today is the day that The Sister Who Ate Her Brothers is released in the UK, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Asia. It's coming out in the States and Canada in a couple of weeks. There's a paper shortage, so it was knocked back a couple of weeks. You can still pre-order it there. It will be with you very soon, completely out of my hands, and I'm sorry about that wait, but I hope it's worth the wait. This I will link in the description box down below if you would like to go and check it out. I will also link the launch video that I do, which won't be available as soon as this video goes up, but will be available the day after. So keep an eye on my Instagram page if you're watching this the day it goes up. If it's later than a day, then it will be linked in the description box down below. I hope that you all have a lovely evening, and I will speak to you very soon. Sending love. Bye.